Hey, friend. Welcome to the Human Design Diaries, a soul aligned sisters podcast. Here we will delve into the fascinating world of human design. In this series, we'll cover the basics, dive deep into the gates and channels, and share plenty of laughs and magic. Join us as we explore how human design can guide you to live a more soul aligned life. Get ready for insightful conversations full of practical tips and insights to help you on your journey. Let's explore.
Okay, so next up in our group of 5 is the alchemist or generator type. Now, we spent quite a bit of time talking about alchemists or generators because we did your chart together in our very first episode. And then we talked a little bit about generator power in the second episode as well. So I don't want to spend too much time on that because I feel like we've covered some ground there already. But let's talk a little bit about it. Let's have a refresher.
Yeah, we
So,
do the
so
work. We do the work.
that's right. Alchemists or generator types do the work. Alchemist is the quantum human design name. Generator is the traditional human design name. And alchemists or generators have a purpose to do the work of building in the world, to really help us move forward, to help us figure out how to make progress, to do the work of like putting things together, getting things over the finish line, that sort of thing. One thing I'll say though is that it's easy to think like, especially since we just talked about the manifester, that the generator types are like not as creative, or they're really just here, like they're the workhorse, they're the worker bees, they don't have the ideas, they're not the ideas man. That is not true.
False.
False. That is false. Alchemists or generator types have as many ideas as anybody else, right? Like what we're really saying is like, there's not a difference in who can like come up with the best idea. There's a difference in who can sustain the energy in a sustainable way to be able to really like see something through to completion. Like, how can you know, bring your energy to bear in a way that allows you to develop mastery at the thing that you're doing, to get it done, to show the commitment, to like persevere. And it's not that all generator types are able to do that, but that's like the highest expression of the generator. So what I find with alchemists or generator types is that there can be this I don't necessarily want to call it a lower expression, but for lack of a like different way to describe it right now, that's what I'll say, where they get so used to making progress that when progress stops, when they're blocked, when like they're waiting on somebody to do something, or they've gotten in the wrong line at the grocery store, that can be deeply frustrating to them. There can be this sense of like, I'm supposed to always be making progress, and usually I am. I'm always moving the ball forward where the trains are always moving, and now I'm stopped, and so something is wrong here. And so that can be a challenge for alchemists or generator types, where if they feel like they're blocked, they might think like, oh, well, am I done here? Is this over? Is it time to move on? Is there nothing left to learn? But their learning curve includes those plateau periods. So as they are learning something new, or as they're engaging their energy in something new, like there will be points where there's a pause. And so instead of thinking like, is this done? Which it may be, you would use your strategy and authority to decide for yourself if it's done. But another way to think about it is momentum is building. Things are being arranged, right? Like, I'm taking a sacred pause right now. I think that's an important thing to try to consider, is like this pause point that is deeply uncomfortable for me and is making me want to like light people up and ask them where they're at and what are they doing and why haven't you gotten back to me yet, is actually just a sacred pause point. And it's the universe saying, rest, integrate, take a beat. Things will move again soon enough. So that's a little bit about the alchemist generator type. Another thing we talked about in the previous, one of the previous episodes, was the power of engaging passion, engaging what lights you up for generator types, is really important. Um, when generators are in work, engaging their energy in work. When I say work, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like you get paid for it. Any way that you're engaging your energy that feels really good to you, that you really enjoy, that you really love, that feels purposeful, that's going to help you tap into your power. That's going to help you recover from burnout. That's going to help you feel more buoyant for the stuff that kind of has a tendency to drag you down. So really tuning into what do you love about the things that you're doing? What do you enjoy? That's a really important part of living a healthy sort of life, energetically, anyway, like your energy levels for alchemists or generator types.
Is that the strategy? Like, what is their strategy?
Their strategy is to wait to respond.
Okay.
So what does that mean? The strategy of wait to respond means that your great idea needs a little time to marinate, and then you're going to pay attention to the outside world to see how this is reflected back to you. So let's use an example. This is the best way I can think of to talk about it.
It's
So
the only way you should use to talk
yeah,
about it because
right. It's
it's
hard to
hard,
understand.
yeah, to understand unless you have an example for sure.
Right. So this is another area where, like, if you hear wait to respond and you're a generator, you're gonna like huge eye roll,
Eye
right?
roll. Yep. I
You
don't
have
have
to
time to
wait.
wait.
I have to wait. What do you mean I gotta wait? I can do this myself, right?
Yep.
All of that. True, very true. But we're not asking you to wait for long. So waiting to respond is really about taking like the idea that you have that's exciting you, that feels good to you, and seeing what shows up outside of you. So for example, let's say you have a idea to go on vacation. I use this one a lot. I think it might mean I need to go on vacation, but like, why am I always thinking this? Okay, so you have this idea. I'm going to go on vacation. I want to go on a trip. It's been too long. I'm exhausted. Like, I got to get out of the cold weather, whatever it is. You have this idea of like, I'm going to go here to this place. I really want to go. You could just go and book the trip. But what human design would say is wait. So, like, feel it in your body, like, let it excite you a little bit, like, let it bubble up, like, imagine what it feels like. And then wait and see what comes your way. So, this is called an external cue. The external cue is, it could be anything that reminds you of your idea. So, it could be someone saying, "Oh, I just got back from a trip. I went wherever," right? Or you're scrolling social media and you see somebody has like a picture of them on the beach. Or it can be like you get an email from Southwest that they're having fair sales. So anything that reminds you of this vacation idea that you have, that's your external cue. Once you start paying attention for those things, you'll see that they happen very quickly. So you're not waiting for long. Although I will say, when it's a really big idea, and sometimes maybe it's an out there idea, it might take a little longer for that external cue to come in, speaking from experience. But the smaller things, right? The easier things, the more quote unquote normal things, ideas that you have, those cues will come to you quickly. And then once you have received the external cue, then you're following your authority, which is your body's knowing, whatever that might be. There are a few different ones for alchemists or generator types. You're following your authority to make a decision. Is this the right time? Is this the right moment? Is this the right thing? Should this come into being now? Regardless of how excited you feel, right? Before, is this really right now? So that's the strategy. It seems freaky and scary and like I'm going to be waiting forever, but you're really not. So I encourage people to start paying attention and notice how quickly those cues come back to them. You're a generator, though. I mean, do you see external cues when they come in about your ideas?
Yes, absolutely. Because I know to look for them.
Mm-hmm.
And probably before human design, I probably was doing it to some extent. But I would see that as like, oh, that's just validation that I'm on the right track. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I have this idea to, to go and take some sort of like class or certification because you know how I am, or learn something. It's like, okay, I'd be interested in that topic. And then all of a sudden, here comes an email from somebody on LinkedIn about them offering a workshop that's exactly on topic. So those are the
Yeah.
types of things that like happen to
Mhm.
me. Um,
Mhm.
and I just look at it, and I still like look at it as like, okay, that's for me. But if it's
Mhm.
something that like I have an idea about and I never see anything, it's kind of like, it doesn't mean that like my idea is bad. It may just
Mhm.
mean like it's not a right now kind of thing, or it's
Mhm.
maybe not as great as I think it might be, sort of thing.
Or it's not for you.
Right.
Or the
Not for me.
idea is meant for somebody else. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's an important thing too. I think I often have ideas that I share, but I try to share them with the people in my circle that are manifesting generators or
Mhm.
manifestors, because
Mhm.
I look at people with that initiator energy as like sort of the template for whether or not my idea is something that's good or not.
Oh, I
So
love that. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's a really cool thing to do. I one of the things about initiators or manifestors or time benders or manifesting generators, which I'm going to talk about next, is, you know, they do got to get over like this idea that they're stepping on toes or whatever. Like they're meant to deliver ideas. And so I love that you are like, I know that you are an ideas person. I know that you have great ideas. And what do you think about this idea? Or how
Yeah.
can you improve on this idea? Or like, where am I going with this idea? Like, help me spark my inspiration here. I have a little bit to it, but like tell me more about it. I think that's a really cool way to rely on what comes natural to you and to the two other types that we're talking about here. So
Mhm.
that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so like just like when we talked about initiators, for generators, what kind of roles do they play in their personal and professional life? Are they limited? Or is because they have this consistent access to energy, do they not experience burnout, or does it manifest in a different way? So it's kind of like two questions there.
Yeah, I would say that in terms of roles that they play, roles for generators, they can play any role that they want to play. What I tend to see generator types doing are like they're doing a lot of like the task based stuff. They're doing a lot of work in the home. They're doing a lot of like, they might be the one who comes home from a really long day at work and goes instantly to making dinner and doing the dishes and putting a load of laundry in. And I think that if that is you, if I'm describing you, and I mean, I could be describing anybody, but if you are a generator type and you're like, yes, that I do kind of do that, I do have a tendency to not be able to sit still. I would ask you, why are you doing that? Are you doing that because like that's what feels good to you in the moment? Are you doing it because like you have the energy for it and you feel a little bit like I got to get this energy out in some way? Or are you doing it because you want to be free of the pressure? Are you doing it because you think this is what is expected of you? Are you doing it because you have learned for so long to be the one who shows up and get things done that you don't ever allow yourself to rest? So that's a really important thing to consider for generator types. Like just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. It is okay for you to pause. It is okay for you to rest. Life will go on. Like the dishes will get done eventually. If what your body is telling you is like, actually I'm tired and I want to rest, just because you can summon the energy to do the thing because you've always done the thing doesn't mean that you have to continue doing that. You can change the way you operate, and instead of ignoring your body, you can say, I hear you, and I'm going to have a seat right now. So that's in terms of roles, that's what I would sort of say. Um, in terms of burnout, I think what I'm noticing and what I'm seeing with generator types with burnout is that it's less a I don't have any energy to do anything and more of a none of this matters. This isn't like who cares about any of this. There's no purpose to this. Like, and I'm not talking about like mental health struggles. I'm just talking about like a sense of like a lack of purpose, a sense of like a lack of passion, being bored, feeling unfulfilled, feeling, the emotional theme for generators on the one hand is frustration, which we talked a little bit about, but on the other hand, it's the opposite side of that is satisfaction. So feeling really dissatisfied with what you're doing or where you're at or the level of effort that you're putting in and what you're getting back. That's sort of how burnout looks for generators more so. It's not to say that you can't end up on the couch for like several months. That's totally possible. But I think the precursor to that is like dissatisfaction is what burnout feels like. So something to watch for.
Yeah, that's a good red flag for people because I don't think people, and I know myself, like, I don't look at like being dissatisfied as like a red flag that I might be like heading towards burnout. I
Hmm.
just look at it like everything sucks. I hate everything right now, but I'll be
Yeah.
I'll get over it. You know what I mean? Like I'll get over
Yeah.
it at some point.
Yeah.
Um, but that's to me, like I've realized, after doing a lot of work, that's self abandonment. So it
Hmm.
matters that I felt dissatisfied. It mattered,
Hmm.
that dissatisfaction started a year before I left the job I was in.
Hmm.
Like I should have said to myself, okay, you're feeling dissatisfied, and quickly did an assessment to figure out whether I could bring myself out of that in the same place I was, or if I should have started looking for something new much sooner than I did. Um, so yeah, I think that that's important. I want to say, like, I was going to ask you about like how does the dominant impact or dominant culture impact like how generators, alchemists, like understand themselves. But I don't know if that's a silly question because I feel like actually we're probably the ones actually setting the dominant culture and we're
Hmm.
expecting others to keep up with us. And for me, um, with that placement, I don't, there's, again, I've said this before, but like human design became a portal for compassion for others. So no longer was I feeling like, why can't you keep up with me? Or
Hmm.
I was able to do that in 30 minutes. What are you doing 2.5 hours later? Like, what are you doing? I do not experience that type of judgment anymore when it comes to people. It's like an instant compassion and an instant like curiosity of like how they work and how they're designed instead of like immediate judgment because you can't keep up with me and I'm the one setting the dominant culture.
Yeah, I agree with that. I see that too. I see generator types. Now, to be clear, generator types are unsustainable, are operating our entire world is unsustainable.
Yes.
Everyone is operating in an unsustainable way.
Yes.
Even generators who have access to their own consistent workforce and life force energy are operating in an unsustainable way. We have learned along the way that we don't listen to your body, don't pay any attention to how you're feeling. It we only listen when it becomes like you can't ignore it anymore, right? When it's
Mm-hmm.
impacting your day to day or, you're feeling so bad that you finally like address whatever is happening with you. But yes, generators I think are setting the tone for what we expect this world to look like, and we ourselves are not sustainable, are not
Yeah.
operating in a sustainable way. And so my recommendation to all generator types, to the 70% of the population out there, is have a seat. Like, can I cuss? Sit the fuck down.
Yes.
Sit down, right? Like, put your project on the shelf. Stop changing for the sake of changing. Like, leave the dishes in the sink. Have a seat and listen to your body. Your body knows what it can handle. If you're feeling like I have a ton of energy, I need to get the energy out, do the thing. But if your body is like, please, I'm begging you to stop, then listen to your body and have a seat.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Slow down. Like that's my perception is like, and that's my belief is that we all need to slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. But easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially
Well,
when there's dishes, Jill. If there's
I know,
dishes
right?
to do, I can't let that sit.
God, the damn dishes, man. I swear I'm
Ah,
doing dishes 3 times a day. It's insane. But speaking
dishes,
of,
laundry, like all of those
yes,
things.
never ending.
Never.
Speaking of needing to slow down, let's talk now about, are you ready to switch over to time benders or manifesting generators?
Yeah, I have enjoyed this extra reminder about being a generator type. So
Yes.
let's
Good.
move on now.
Let's talk about me now.
Okay, let's talk about you.
Okay.
Thanks again for joining us on this episode of Human Design Diaries. We hope that you love this episode as much as we did. Please take whatever resonates with you and leave the rest. If you're ready to dive deeper, visit our website at soulalignedsisters.com, where you'll find a wealth of free resources to support your journey. In our store, you can request a free human design chart, purchase low-cost reports, or even book a personalized reading with Jill. Be sure to explore our blog's Human Design Library, filled with stories and insights to help you get aligned. And don't miss our free Introduction to Human Design workshop available through the Soul Aligned Sisters online school. Whether you're just starting out or deepening your knowledge, there's something there for everyone. Stay tuned for more episodes as we continue to uncover the magic of human design. Until next time, stay aligned and keep living your most magical life.